So in chapter 1, we discussed the basics of management, sort of the concept behind it, and the different aspects that go with it. So, first of all, for part A, it's asking us to discuss the 4 management processes. So basically, there's 4 different management processes. There's planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So basically, for planning, this is setting goals for your day-to-day operations. Well, depending on what level of management you are. But you're setting goals to try and attain them. This is something that needs to be prioritized, because if you don't plan out properly, you're just going to be all over the place, which kind of leads into organizing. So you need to organize who's going to do what, assign responsibility, make sure everybody knows what they're doing and how they're going to do it, when they're going to do it. So part of the organization process to make sure everything's smooth and efficient, and to make sure all the tasks are completed to a high degree of effectiveness. That kind of falls into sort of the leading aspect. You need to be a good leader. You need to influence your workers, motivate them, and make them feel comfortable, make them want to do their job and be able to do their job at a high level. If you're not able to lead them properly, this can lead to not very good results of their jobs. Sort of the work may not be as good. So if you're able to lead them and kind of show by example, they can look off of you and do their job that they need to do. Which that also leads into the controlling aspect. This is monitoring activities, making corrections. I know in class we discussed measuring and evaluating. That's sort of in that category, the controlling category. When you monitor, you want to make sure you take note of what's effective, what's not, so then you can go back, make adjustments that you're going to need to make more efficient, better profits, stuff like that. So the next part we have is discuss how or why we study management. So basically what I said before with the controlling aspects. So we discuss and study management because we want to maximize profits within a business, and make sure everything's running smooth and efficient. If you have an effective management, your company is going to be a lot more successful. So we need to find ways to make that possible. Without that, it's going to be all over the place. Things aren't going to run smoothly, and profits aren't going to be maximized, which is the ultimate goal of a business. Basically that's why we study management. We want to be effective, and make sure our business is as successful as possible. Not only to make more money, but it will help out society a little bit better too. So for part C, an explanation of each of the 3 levels of management. So basically there are 3 different levels of management. The first level is first level or supervisory managers. So these people are people that are responsible for production of goods or services. I think my dad kind of falls in this category. He's a supervisor for my city back home, the Parks and Rec department. So he looks over all of the workers. I worked under him, so he wasn't my actual supervisor, but like I was in a different section of the Parks and Rec. So he kind of does that, and he looked after sort of the day-to-day operations of his locations, baseball diamonds and parks, and make sure that everything was running smoothly, telling his workers how to be more effective, make the place look nicer, and kind of showing them the ropes around that kind of stuff, because he has a lot of experience around that. So that's sort of the first level of management. Next, there's middle managers. So these guys are responsible for business units and major departments. These guys are definitely, I think, going to have more responsibility than, or maybe not more responsibility, but a different type of responsibility than the first level management. You're looking more at less of the sort of the working side of it, like controlling your workers. You are still, but I'm having trouble explaining, but basically, yeah, so they're going to look after the business units and the major departments, which is probably definitely more of a responsibility. Next, you have your top managers. So basically, these guys look after everything. They're the managers for the entire organization. They're going to have the most responsibility. These guys are going to have a lot of different things to look after, and these guys are going to be definitely key to managing the business in the big picture or in the longer term, opposed to the first level management, which would be looking after the day-to-day operations. These guys would be looking more into the future type deal. Next, we have part D, which is efficiency and effectiveness. So basically, there's two sections to being a good manager, and we talked about this in class. You have to be effective and efficient. So basically, like I said before, you want to maximize your profits. So when you break it down, being effective, you have to be a good leader. You have to be able to motivate and have your leadership skills, and there's many different types of leadership skills, such as being able to connect with your people, with your workers. So that's something definitely that you want. Leadership skills. You want to be able to communicate properly, have integrity, and confidence too. If you don't have confidence, your workers aren't going to want to work for you because they don't trust you. So that's basically the effective side. And then there's the efficiency side. So this is, are you able to make decisions? Are you able to maximize your profits, like I said before? Decision making is a big one. Basically, you want to get as much information as possible because that's how you make your decisions. You want to make the most effective and best decisions possible. And the other thing too is you need to be able to adapt to change. That's a big one. If you're not able to adapt to change, you're not going to be very efficient, because not everything is the same every single day. So if you're able to do those things, you're going to be a really good leader. You need both of those qualities, the efficiency and effectiveness, to be a good leader or a good manager. And it's definitely hard to do. It's something that's not very easy. Lastly, for part 2, explain how or why the 3 skills managers need impact or influence how a person manages. So basically, the 3 skills that a manager would have would be technical skills, conceptual skills, and human or interpersonal skills. So basically, technical skills, everything that has to do with technology. You need to be able to use machines and know sort of have a good knowledge of like the different aspects of your business. Like if you're in a business about computers, you need to know that inside and out. Or if you're in a business or a manager of machines and equipment, you're going to need to know them inside and out. This is really big for first level managers. These technical skills are very needed. Next, you have conceptual skills, which is more of like trying to get like abstract thinking, trying to analyze and trying to fix any problems that come their way and be efficient and effective. through that. Next, we have human or interpersonal skills. This is something that you need to be able to connect with your people and make them want to work for you, and get the most out of it. If you don't have those skills, a lot of times people aren't going to like you, and you're not going to get the full effort from your workers, because they're not going to like you. So you need to have those three. If, for example, you're lacking in one, if you're lacking in the human or interpersonal one, you're going to be having a tough time with your workers. If you're having problems with your conceptual skills, you might not be as effective as you need. You might be sort of a good manager and be good with people, but you're not really effective in that certain type of thing, which is another thing we talked about. You might not be effective in that job description there. So yeah, basically those are the three types of skills, and these definitely influence or impact creativity and innovation in an organization. Without one, it's going to change drastically how you manage. So basically, yeah, that's basically it, what we looked at for chapter 1 in our management class.